Hey guys, I figured I would just do the video on my labor and birth for you. I just figured I would get Kinley in it really quick before she goes to bed. Say hi. So I went in for my doctor appointment. They took my blood pressure 4 times and my blood pressure was high. So my doctor told me to go home, pack my bags, get something to eat, and head to the hospital. When I got there, they put me in a triage room, and I stayed there probably for 3 hours. They were monitoring me, and I actually started to go into labor on my own. That was my belly at about 34-ish weeks. So after the triage room, they put me in my own room, and they hooked me up to IVs, the Pitocin, because my contractions actually stopped. When I woke up from my nap, my mom was there, so I had been in labor for about 7 hours. My OB wasn't in yet, so the on-house doctor came in to check me, and I was only at a centimeter, so she upped my Pitocin some more. I was having a lot of back pain, so the nurse came in with a big exercise ball and told me to bounce on it and hold on to the bed. They had me lean over the edge of the bed, and Charlie was to hold to my shoulders down so I didn't jump when they put it in. It didn't hurt going in. It was just like a really big pinch, and it scared me more than anything. It started to work within minutes, and they laid me down on the bed, and I fell right asleep. I had to be 25, 30 hours into labor at that point, and the nurse checked me, and I was at 1.5 or 2. My OB still wasn't there, so the nurse decided that it would be best to put a Foley balloon inside of my cervix to help me dilate. I was probably in labor 35 hours. Charlie had enough. He started to yell at the nurse and tell her that I was in a lot of pain. Why wasn't she listening to me? She just kept saying it was normal. So finally the in-house doctor came in and said she was going to break my water. So she came in, removed the Foley balloon. It did absolutely nothing. And she told me I was going to feel a tug. And she said she broke my water. I didn't feel anything. I kept asking her if I was supposed to feel wetness, anything. She told me that, and it came out, and I didn't feel it at all. Finally, my OB was there. He checked me. I was only at 5 centimeters, 39 hours into it, and he actually told me my water wasn't broken. So what happened was my daughter's head was not in the birth canal, and it had turned, so the back of her head was actually against my spine, which was what was causing me all that pain. He said, okay, I'm going to break your water, and he did, and I felt it. It was a big gush, and he said, let's wait a little bit and see what happens. Because I was so big when I was pregnant, they're expecting her to be 9 pounds, so he said that a C-section would probably be best because I wasn't progressing at all. I knew nothing about a C-section, what it was about. When I was pregnant, I was like, that's not going to be me. The only way I'm going to have a C-section is if my baby's dying. Well, my blood pressure was so high that the only option that I really had at 5 centimeters, 40 hours into it, was a C-section. It only took them about an hour to prep me for my C-section, but it felt like forever. It was so much pain. So they finally wheeled me into the operating room, and Charlie had to stay outside because they were giving me a spinal tap, and I guess he can't be in for that. Finally, they gave me the spinal tap, and it was like heaven. All the pain was gone. I was numb from the boobs down. It felt great. They hook an oxygen hose up to my nose, and they started the procedure. The nurse that was standing above me was talking to me. They were joking with me. My OB was joking with me, and it was like 10 minutes into it, and I looked at the nurse that was standing above my head, and I was like, what's taking so long? And she's like, oh, honey, this is like a 40-minute procedure just to get the baby out. I was like, oh my gosh. Because on TV it takes like 10 minutes. I felt a lot of pressure, and at 11:12 a.m. on December 15th, 2012, Kinley Grace was born, and she came out screaming. The room started buzzing. Everyone was so excited. Charlie actually got to look over the curtain and see them pull her out of me. As soon as she cried, I started crying. Charlie was in so much shock. He was just staring at her. And that's where my handle for Twitter comes in, and my YouTube channel, OrangeXXDream. I don't really remember much besides them handing Charlie Kinley and telling them that they needed to leave the room. The last thing that I remember is them handing Kinley to Charlie and telling them to leave the room. I woke up in recovery in the worst pain I've ever felt. It was way worse than any of my labor pains, and my blood pressure was still extremely high. I was extremely pale, and my OB was getting really concerned. I was extremely tired. I just had a C-section, so I was in a lot of pain. It hurt to even laugh. It was so bad. Finally, I was able to go home. After birth, my blood pressure did not return to normal. It was still extremely high. After a lot of doctor's appointments and a lot of pills, I was on 5 a day until June, so about 5 months I was on them. My blood pressure is finally okay. Kinley is 10 months old today, and she is happy and healthy. She has 2 top teeth and 2 bottom teeth. She says mama, dada, baba. She'll say, huh, yeah, bye, and a few other various words. She'll my mom just pointed out that she'll say yay, and she does touchdown, and she crawls, and she is walking along things. That's it from my labor and birth story. It's really confusing, but I hope you enjoyed. Make sure that you subscribed if you like it, and like this video if you enjoyed it, and follow me on Twitter at OrangeXXDream. Thanks. Bye.